Good morning, everyone. We are Group 1. Today we are presenting book Co-opetition, Chapter 1 and 2. And let's start. At first, you might wonder what exactly co-opetition is. But before talking about the concept of it, business is a word. Have you ever heard this saying? Gore Vidal, who said it, claimed that it is not enough to succeed if others do not fail. However, on the contrary, the win-win view from Bernard Barak suggests that it is not necessary to blow out the other fellow's light to let your own shine. Most businesses succeed only if others succeed. Like Microsoft software creates more powerful software leads to increase the demand of Intel chips. Also, Intel's faster chips make Microsoft software more valuable. Until now, the business as word view gains a higher fan while the opposite view leads to more money. However, we cannot conclude that the argument business is peace is quite right. For example, even though the demand for Intel chip increases when Microsoft creates more powerful software, it doesn't really benefit Apple computer. So if business isn't word and isn't peace, then what it is? Based on this question, therefore, we need some kind of new mindset. This new mindset is to consider business as both peace and war. You have to compete and cooperate at the same time. And you can compete without having to kill the opposition. This is what makes the word co-opetition. To be more specific, it's like creating a pie and dividing it at the same time. If fighting to the death destroys the pie, there will be nothing left to capture, and will result in a lose-lose situation. However, since it isn't smart to create a pie you can capture, it is not necessary to ignore your self-interest in order to cooperate. The goal of co-opetition is to do well for yourself. It's not like the chess or poker game will have the winner and loser. There can be multiple winners. The most appropriate way to describe co-opetition is game theory. The powerful fundamental ideas in the applying opportunities offered by business make game theory recognized a crucial tool for understanding the modern business world. The field of game theory dates back to the early days of World War II, when British naval forces playing cat and mouse with German submarines need to understand the game better so they could win it more often. In modern business world, game theory is usually used to find the right strategies and make the right decisions. It's most effective when there are many interdependent factors and they are all affected by each other. Game theory breaks down the game into all its key components. It helps you to see what's going on and what to do about it. This is especially suitable for a business. You and your colleague can reach a strategy decision easier and build a consensus. The game of business allows more than one winner when all the background elements are rapidly changing. And by presenting a more complete picture of each business situation, game theory makes it possible to see aspects of the situation that may be ignored. Game theory is an approach you can expand and build on. However, if you are playing the wrong game, you might still fare terribly even if you play the game very well. Therefore, in business, real success comes from actually making the game you want, not taking the game you find. To change the game, you should change one or more of the 5 individually powerful elements in parts. Game theory finds the greatest opportunities in not only changing the way you play the game, but the game you play. The first part shows the importance of game theory. Besides this, thinking complement is about finding ways to make the business pie bigger, rather than fighting with competitors over a fixed pie. The ways can develop new complements or to make existing complements more affordable. Take an example. Auto insurance is a complement to cars. When people purchase new cars, they won't want to run the risk of losing all this money, especially for the first-time buyer. And complement is reciprocal. People's desire of having a new car might reduce because there is no insurance. Therefore, the more and the better insurance the companies provide, the more cars may be sold. This leads us to the basic questions. Who are the players and what are their rules if business is a game? The player would be customers, suppliers, competitors, and people who provide complements, who the book calls complementers. However, it's hard to define the complementers are as your partner or allies simply. In some cases, customer, suppliers, and complementer can all be your partners or allies, but of course will involve some tension just like any other business relationship. The following schematic map can help you to visualize the whole business game. Value net, the second part. This is the basic graph of value net. The vertical dimension of the value net shows that resources flow from suppliers, companies to customers, along with money flowing in the reverse direction. The horizontal dimension shows the competitors and complementers on each side of the companies. Here is the definition of complementer. A player is your complementer if customers value your product more when they have the other player's product than when they have their own products alone. For the competitor, a player is your competitor if customers value your product less when they have the other player's product than when they have your product alone. The classic examples are Pepsi and Coca-Cola. On the customer side, your complementer is if customers value your product more than they have the other product, whereas a player is your competitor if customers value your product less when they have other products. However, on the supplier side, the definition will be a player is your complementer if it is more attractive for a supplier to provide resource to you when it is also supplying the other player, whereas a player is your competitor if it is less attractive for a supplier to provide resources to you when it is also supplying the other player. Sometimes complements for supplier can be across the different industry. Like employees are the supplier, the company pay them to provide their certain expertise or time. However, many companies are both competitor and complementer for their supplier. For example, American and Delta Airline compete for airport facilities, but they are complementers for Boeing, a key supplier. It is much cheaper than Boeing design a new airplane for both of them than for each of them separately. and the big demand also can help Boeing to faster the learning curve. The value net revolves two fundamental symmetries in the game of business. First, customers and suppliers play symmetric roles. Second, competitors and complementers play mirror image roles. Customers and suppliers are equal partners in creating value. Supplier relationships are just as important as customer relationships because everyone has a common goal to create the greatest benefit. Therefore, you can put anyone first. If you still remember the definition of competitors and complementers, you will find out that the only difference between they two is the word more or less. So complementers are just a mirror image of competitor. The third part of the chapter first gives an example of an university to show us how to serve the value net, then points out multiple perspectives. A good method is to draw separate value net from the perspective of customers, suppliers, competitors, complementers, and more perspectives further removed. You may already know the business inside out, but drawing the value net can help you to understand the customer and supplier's perspective. You will know the business outside in too. The fourth part is about people playing multiple roles in the game of business. The position in the value net merely represents a role someone plays, but the same player can have multiple roles, like the example we took before, American Airlines and Delta Airlines. From American Airlines' perspective, Delta is both competitor and complementer. They compete for the airport facilities and passengers. When commissioning to Boeing, they complement each other. Therefore, the data plays both roles for American Airlines. In VariNet, we can see clearly that no one just a customer or suppliers or just competitor. A strange phenomenon explains the fact that the player can be both competitor and complementer. Competing business often locate very close, even right next to each other. Like 7-Eleven and Family Mart, we can see in Taiwan. By locating near to one another, the convenience stores also become complementers. If customers can find the product they want in 7-Eleven, they can choose to go to the Family Mart instead. This can probably bring more customers and people. The example of the good Dr. Jekyll and the evil Mr. Hyde shows that there is a bias towards seeing every new player as a competitive threat. The trade-off mindset failed to take account of complements. However, many players complement as well compete. Companies are complementers in making markets, but competitors in dividing up markets. To help recognize this too, we shall look for complementary opportunities as well as competitive threats. The last part of this chapter is friends or foe. You may simply think that customers, suppliers, and complementers are in your team. However, when it comes to dividend, everyone wants their benefit. For the horizontal line, the relationship with competitors is a win-lose situation. You lose when they enter the game. But you don't have to lose as much if you recognize that once competitors enter the game, you can have win-win interaction with them. It's friends and foe, showing that there are both win-win and win-loss elements in relationships with customers, suppliers, complementers, and competitors. At this point, we have a map and a mindset for thinking about the game of business. To develop a method we use scan theory. These are chapter 1 and 2. Thank you.